because the market kind of is in a trend day position right now and was not so far able to reach 80, they got to 79. That, and by the way, if I'm a buyer for a target like 79 or 80, I certainly am going to fade that target under conditions that I'm suspicious that the market's in a trend to a certain direction. Some of the things that are said in books about trends are actually quite true, in my opinion. One of the things they say is the trend is your friend. That's true if you do understand what the trend is. And it isn't that difficult to understand that the market is in a trend. The problem is that often by the time you might recognize that the market's in a trend, the trend may be over. That is a really common problem with indicators, is that by the time they're indicating that the trend is underway, that you can say, hey, there is a trend and the trend is my friend, the trend is over. But it depends on which time frame and really where the force is coming from. And that's why it's an important part of our work to understand how force works in the market and where it's coming from. What time frame is the force being derived from? Take a look at this. Here's a quarterly chart. So this is the current quarter of the new year of 2022. So we're saying the market still has to go lower than what this quarter has done into the second quarter. And I'm 100% sure that that's going to be the case, whether or not we have important bounces along the way. So that information is, when you get a really solid piece of information, I tend to look to capitalize on that more than I would on a lesser indication. So when people think about forecasting and investing, they often think about, again, making a certain amount of money per day or units per, dollars per unit of time, whatever their little unfortunate head trip happens to be. And that's all it is a head trip, particularly for men. So what they tend to do is think of it that way, when a much better way of thinking about it, rather than just saying there's this uniform pace that you're just going at to get a certain result from your trading, is that when you see an extraordinary set of conditions, that's when you're going to be putting more of your trading capital to work. And when you're seeing lesser indications but are still knowable and still good, you're going to trade smaller but still, be able to do something with those moves. So this, for me anyway, I found over time that it's not just a mechanical thing that you're just doing a certain amount of dollars per day or anything like that, because that's a completely arbitrary thing that you're just assigning to the market, that you should be able to make this arbitrary dollar amount a day. The degree of opportunity varies over time. The degree of certainty of opportunity varies over time. So if you're watching the market each day and you note that the degree of opportunity has grown dramatically, the certainty of opportunity has grown, you will want to be bigger in that than you would be with something that has a more normal sort of degree of opportunity, degree of certainty. Nothing wrong with a smaller degree of certainty, because most of those are going to work, but you're not going to step up to those as you would with something that has larger degree of opportunity.